Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. An independent inquiry will be launched into child sexual abuse in Tasmania's public school system. The investigation will examine if policies and practices go far enough to protect children. Advocates say it sends the right message to those who have suffered unspeakable pain.
Shining a light on the darkest of crimes.
Asks for the establishment of an independent inquiry.
Tasmania's laws and practices will be examined to see if they do enough to protect children from sexual abuse in state schools. The inquiry will look at education department policies, both past and present, while also testing if recommendations from the 2016 Royal Commission are making a difference.
Our intent is to ensure that we are doing everything possible to protect young people in government schools.
Those working with survivors say it's the right move.
And it sends the message to survivors that the concerns of what have happened in the past and what is still happening are being taken seriously.
It has the backing of Labor and the Greens.
This is a very serious issue and obviously a very sensitive issue, and we applaud the government for taking this step and recognising that we can do better.
We warmly commend the Minister for taking this investigation away from the department, making sure that it's independent and giving survivors a voice.
No timeline has been set on just when the inquiry will begin, but Jeremy Rockcliffe says it's of a high priority. Who leads the investigation will also be announced soon, and for those who face the difficulty of reliving trauma through the inquiry, help is available.
We'd really encourage people, either survivors themselves or family members, to reach out for support from services like ours. We're very much there for them throughout this process.
Nothing is more important than the safety of our young people in our care.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
An elderly woman is in a serious condition after a nasty single vehicle crash on the Bass Highway near Prospect. Emergency services worked to free the passenger who became trapped in the car at around 2:30 this afternoon. She and the driver, both in their 70s, were transported to hospital. It's believed the car ran off the road into a ditch in wet weather before rolling over. One lane of the highway was closed for more than an hour as authorities cleared the scene. Tasmanians who explore their own backyard will soon be able to access up to $550 of support, with the government unveiling its travel voucher program. It comes as new figures show the local job market is starting to recover as workplaces look to hire back staff.
Plenty of room to spare. Here at Smithton's Tall Timbers Hotel, it's been a year of ups and downs as the owners navigate an unprecedented pandemic.
Reasonably up to June. July was very good with school holidays and we had a lot of people around for July, but in the last 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, it's been really quiet.
Locals are now being called upon to explore their own patch. The Premier unveiling the details of a new voucher system, giving money back to Tasmanians for exploring the regions. A single adult can access $100 for accommodation costs and one voucher for each couple. For families, more than $300 available.
People can choose the type of holiday experience that they want, and then we'll provide payment for that.
Money also available to visit attractions. Registrations opening on September 7. And it's good news for operators.
To hear the details of this scheme is really exciting because it's going to create demand, and that is something that we just haven't had enough of.
Employment data also showing signs of recovery. New figures from SEEK reveal the number of Tasmanian job ads in the past fortnight have surpassed pre-COVID levels.
I think there is a cautious optimism that Tasmanians are feeling at the moment, and so it's important that we've got job ads.
But for some, there's still a long road ahead before they employ more staff.
Borders open. Yes, that's one of the main things, borders open. Obviously a date has been set for the 1st of December, so that is set and we hope that the borders are open then.
Another reminder the pandemic isn't over. Queensland cities of Logan, Brisbane and Ipswich now declared coronavirus hotspots. Those entering Tasmania from the regions facing stricter quarantine conditions. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
The University of Tasmania says its own investigation into former Vice-Chancellor Peter Rathjen found no known evidence of sexual harassment or assault during his time at the institution. Professor Rathjen was head of UTAS from 2011 to 2017 before moving to the University of Adelaide. Yesterday, a damning report from South Australia's Corruption Commission found he inappropriately touched two women and lied while under investigation. In response, UTAS says it has no tolerance for such behaviour and has called on staff and students who want to share their experiences to come forward. The controversial Major Projects Bill has passed State Parliament's lower house. The government argues the reform will boost confidence and attract investment. Labor backed the bill, while the Greens say it will fast-track divisive projects. Meanwhile, a voluntary assisted dying bill has been tabled in the upper house.
Mr. President, I have the honour to present the End-of-Life Choices Voluntary Assisted Dying Bill 2020.
The proposal will now be debated. Former Tasmanian Legislative Councillor Tony Fletcher has died. First elected to the upper house in 1981, he served as an independent in the northwest seat of Russell and then Murchison until 2005. Premier Peter Gutwein today describing him as hard-working, determined and honest. Mr Fletcher was 85. You're about to meet Smithton's most vocal St Kilda fans. One-eyed supporters Bob and Chris even preached their saintly devotion on a radio show produced exclusively for residents at an aged care home. Today, the club rewarded their dedication with a surprise from their favourite star.
These are the true Smithton Saints, their memories vivid of that famous 66 flag.
I remember listening to it on the radio in Launceston, and when that final point was kicked, I can remember jumping up and down on the bed because St Kilda had won.
Now it's Chris doing the radio announcing, broadcasting the weekly footy tips to residents tuning in at Smithton's Emerton Park. Bob's in charge of the tipping, going door to door and collecting nearly 80 handwritten entries each week.
Oh, they love it. Yeah. Every Monday morning they all get together and whisper and say who picked who and who won.
But there's one tip they always share.
Who's your favourite player?
Dan Butler.
Dan Butler.
Cue Dan Butler.
How are you guys going down in Tassie?
The Saints recruit inquiring about the tips.
Bob, I heard you're running the footy comp this year. How are you going?
Before getting a few tips in return.
I just, you had so many opportunities to win the game against Brisbane. That was unbelievable. And you should have won by about 4 goals.
Shave your beard off, please. I don't like your beard.
You want me to shave it off?
Yes, please.
Okay, I might get to that soon.
Jokes aside, the candid chat was a thrill for St Kilda's circular head contingent.
Congratulations on your season thus far.
The only thing better, a second flag.
You got a chance, so he's hoping.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Bye. Tasmanians can look forward to some warmer weather finally on the way, with the Bureau of Meteorology predicting above average temperatures for spring. But experts are also forecasting higher than usual rainfall in the north and west, with conditions in the Pacific Ocean bringing the wet weather.
There's a high chance that we'll see La Niña form this year, and particularly likely to form during the spring. Odds there are around 70%.
Across Australia, winter temperatures were also above average, likely to be one of the warmest Augusts on record. An East Coast holiday haven has official bragging rights, being named Tassie's top tourism town. St Helens edged out Stanley and Sheffield in the inaugural award by the Tourism Industry Council and Spirit of Tasmania. 11 towns across the state nominated, with local operators, councils and chambers of commerce placing entries. The Tourism Council says St Helens was a fitting winner due to its world-class beaches, mountain biking and seafood.
North Launceston has exacted revenge on its city rival, defeating Launceston by 18 points. In a gritty match, the Bombers' defence stood tall, keeping their opponents scoreless in the third term.
Under the glow of UTAS Stadium, it was last year's premiers that grabbed the spotlight.
Oh, that's a great mark by Callow.
Launceston made a skillful start.
Chance here off the ground, that's a goal.
Riley.
And it's Dylan Riley.
But the Bombers did not slip up in the arm wrestle, restricting the ladder leaders to just 1 goal in the second and third quarter as they piled on 5 majors.
He marks in the goal square and kicks the goal for North Launceston.
How does that happen? As the officials searched for a lost football, the Blues were searching for answers. They needed something special to regain ascendancy in the match, and Jack Donnellan delivered.
Could have given it to Harper, ignores, go to the top of the square, Jack Donnellan, goal! So there was the first bit of play, it was an open 50.
But they squandered a number of chances in the final term.
Here's Julian James from outside 50, the defender, top of the square, Callow sits.
After the Bombers were on the receiving end of a shock round 2 loss, last night the shoe was on the other foot.
The battle between the two northern teams in the TSL, and on this occasion it's the Northern Bombers coming out on top.
The winning margin, 18 points. The next time the two rivals could meet again is in the finals. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Staying with the TSL, Clarence believes the teenage talents on its roster have rejuvenated the side this season. Currently sitting third, the Roos will face Glenorchy this weekend. But the Magpies have a score to settle after copping a 78-point drubbing the last time the two sides met.
But our guys remember that, and now we owe them one, and we're pretty determined to pay that back on Saturday.
We're going to come out, breathing fire, but we want to make sure we're breathing it back the other way just as hard.
The match kicks off at 2:30 at KG5 on Saturday. After securing wins on the weekend, Corona and Cripps Waratah face each other in the upcoming round of the state's top-flight netball competition. As the pointy end of the season approaches, both sides are focused on a dream of a finals berth.
We set some KPIs, which are really important for us, and we're improving every week, which is really handy.
Trying to get those bonus points each quarter as well as the win, so that's our main challenge this week, I think.
The Northern Hawks remain undefeated after winning the first 8 games of the season.
Good evening. Before we look at the weather, I'd like to mention a special day on the calendar. Tomorrow is Daffodil Day, the major fundraiser for Cancer Council Tasmania. I know we're in testing times at the moment, but please help out if you can with their fundraising aims tomorrow. Now, as expected, the wind started to pick up today as the front approached Tasmania. Temperatures mostly sat above average. Hobart, Campania and Bushy Park, our maximum of 17. Launceston and Burnie 15 today, and Devonport 14 degrees. Grove reached 16, King Island, Smithton and Friendly Beaches 15, Flinders Island and St Helens 14, Low Head and Strahan 13, Lyawini a top of 8. The prefrontal cloud moved over the state today, pushing over most districts. The front extends from the low to our south. A little cloud sits near the Queensland coast, but most of the continent is cloud-free. Tomorrow the large high dominates the weather over most of the country. The next cold front still west of WA. The southwesterlies could reach 35 to 40 knots over the east and south in the morning before tending more westerly during the day. Swells above 6 metres in western and southern waters. We have a gale warning for waters between Flinders Island and Low Rocky Point, a strong wind warning for all remaining waters along with the inland lakes, and a warning to sheep graziers for the upper Derwent Valley and the southeast. Hobart can expect 16 tomorrow with a morning shower or two, same for Huonville, but 15 the top and 16 the high for Campania. Launceston 17 and mostly sunny as it all clears up. Devonport 16 and 15 for Georgetown. Burnie tomorrow 16 the high and mostly sunny. Still a shower or two over Strahan, 14 the top. Wynyard a possible early shower clearing 16. 17 for St Helens and mostly sunny. Same for Swansea. Port Arthur a shower or two and 15. On Saturday, cloudy right across the state with a few showers over the west. Showers extending statewide on Sunday, just a possible shower over the east. And on Monday, a shower or two over the west, central and south, easing during the day. A shower or two in Perth tomorrow, a sunny day in Adelaide, sunny also in Melbourne, Canberra and Sydney, and Brisbane sunny 2 and 26. And the heavy frontal cloud is still over Tasmania. Hobart 9 at the moment, Devonport 9 and Launceston a bit of rain about in 10, Kim.
Thank you very much, Merv. That's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us this Thursday night. Good night.